To Buriram in Thailand. We're here for the second race of the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup. Yesterday on Saturday we saw an absolutely hectic affair with 23 riders going tooth and nail, overtaking each other at every single corner. On Saturday it was young Turkish talent Deniz Onsu who kept his cool, but can he go out and do the double, or will we see a first-time winner? There was a hectic group of 11 riders at the front, swapping positions at almost every corner. In the Superbike race we saw only a couple of overtaking spots, but in the Asia Talent Cup it's almost everywhere that you can overtake. With that man there, number 7, Deniz Onsu, who did lead for most of the race. He had some tough competition from the likes of Azroy, Anwar, Ryusi Yamanaka, Kaizwanti, Salem Noguchi, and young Yuki Kuni. There's nothing to choose between the leading group, and there's constant slipstreaming action down all 3 of the straights at this Chang International Circuit. 3 abreast with more than a common sight as riders look to finalise their lines, try and find some consistency, but it was Onku who did manage to seal victory by just over half a second ahead of Azroy, Anwar and Yamanaka there. His first win, some big riders coming to congratulate this young Turkish talent. Definitely one to watch for the future, and especially one to watch today for race 2. There you can see he was absolutely ecstatic. He may not be the biggest rider in the world, but his smile was certainly the biggest on the podium here after the 16-lap race. Here we go, back in Thailand, still at the Chang International Circuit, race 2, round 1 of the 2017 Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup. This championship entered its 4th year and aims to bring through young Asian talent and get them up onto the world stage, and in doing so produces some absolutely thrilling racing. There you can see the conditions that we are racing in: 35-degree air temperature and 38 degrees Celsius, or 118 degrees Fahrenheit ground temperature. It is hot here, even hotter than it was yesterday. All of these kids, of course, all aged between 15 and 20 years old, are going to be pushed to their absolute physical limit here as we do battle around this 4.5 kilometre long Chang circuit. 12 corners, 7 rights and 5 lefts. Usually you'd say that turns 1, turns 12 and turns 3 are favourite overtaking spots here, but in the Asia Talent Cup, literally every centimetre of track is a passing opportunity. The action is always hectic. There you can see everybody down on the grid. Of course, this is a standard class, everybody on the exact same motorcycle, which does leave it down to the riders to make up the difference. My name is Harry Lloyd. Joining me in the commentary box once again for this sure to be thrilling race is Stephen English. There you can see the pole setter, Yuki Kuni, who was up there in the leading group for most of yesterday, but got a bit duffed up on the last couple of laps and pushed down the order, eventually crossing the line in 8th place. He'll be able to make amends here today and hopefully get back up on that podium. He definitely comes into this season as one of the title favourites. There is no doubt about that. Riding with number 5, who was 6th in 2016 and claimed 2 wins, so hopefully he can make it 3 wins here today. There you can see 2nd place, Malaysian Azroy Anwar.
And we saw yesterday, Harry, just how competitive Anwar can be as well, finishing 2nd in the race, and really just good racecraft the whole way through proceedings in the 16-lap race, just to get to the front, especially in those closing laps. But as you said, the Asia Talent Cup, always a race where pretty much any corners an overtaking opportunity. There's always action ready to be had, and yesterday was no exception. We saw really close group in that top 8, top 9, and this man Yamanaka was right in the thick of things, finished on the podium, finished third, and really just another strong performance from the Japanese rider. And we've seen in the past in the ATC just how good the Japanese riders are, and himself and Cooney really look like that next breed of young Japanese stars in this championship.
Yep, certainly. Of course, this championship has produced young Japanese riders such as Ayumu Sasaki and Kaito Toba, making their Moto3 World Championship debut this year. Here is another Japanese rider, Noguchi, there in 4th. He was again up there in that leading group, eventually did cross the line in 6th place. There are 8 Japanese riders in the championship this year, alongside a couple of Malaysians, the Turkish twins of the Onsu brothers. There's a Filipino rider, an Australian rider, and a couple of local riders from Thailand as well. Nice mix of nationalities there. And of course, we have had 2 Japanese champions, with Toba in 2014, Sasaki in 2015, and then it was a home hero, Thai rider Somkat Chantra, who won it last year, and he will be making his CEV debut this year. There is another Thai rider, Kaizwampi. He came very, very strong at the end of the race. Definitely one to watch, especially if he can make a bit of a better start and stay up in that top 3 for most of the race. But the great thing about the Asia Talent Cup is, unless something pretty incredible happens, it's almost guaranteed to go down to the last bend.
Yeah, we've seen pretty much every race in the history of the ATC has been a last lap shootout. It's only been a handful of times where we've seen riders really pull away from the field and open a large victory margin. Chantra did it last year. We saw Jerry Salim do it as well. But really, it always comes down to just that last corner. Who's able to get good drive through, especially here in Thailand, who's able to get the drive through the fast right, left, right at the end of the lap in turns 9, 10 and 11. Give you a good speed onto the final straight, into the last corner, and then try and make the move. Usually it's such a short run between the last corner to the start-finish line here that you don't see anyone make a move on the exit. It's always on the entry. So we'll see what happens in the course of this 16-lap race, which is just about to get underway in the next couple of minutes. But I'm excited for it, Harry. I think this could be another thriller.
Yeah, it certainly will be. As we said, 23 young riders lining up in the grid. We did unfortunately have 2 DNFs yesterday with Harama and Suzuki, 2 Japanese riders. They'll both be looking to get up there and finish this race. There's a man who you seem to like quite a bit, Steve Jerry Salim, the Indonesian rider there. He has a fair bit of experience in this championship, so definitely one to watch. Didn't have the greatest start to the race yesterday, came strong towards the end, did eventually cross the line in 5th place. Of course, as this is just the second race of this 12-race or 6-round championship, following the Superbike format of 2 races a weekend. Where they finished is where they currently are in the championship. No complicated math for that one at all. There you can see the 1-minute board being held up. Mechanics just starting to clear the grid. There is your race 1 winner, young Dennis Onsu. Very, very small, but very, very, very fast. And he definitely comes into this race as another one of the favourites, you have to be sure. Because he just looked so strong. He was fighting up there, made a couple of mistakes, did run wide during the first race, but was able to recover and just seemed to have a pretty high, consistent pace. He also set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:46.815, and that was on his 2nd lap. So they do go fast enough here. There you can see the grid just starting to clear out here. They will do 1 formation lap and then we'll go racing. 16 laps here of the Chang International Circuit, as I said, 4.5 kilometres long. Yesterday the race lasted for 28 minutes and 51 seconds, so we should be expecting pretty similar time here. Of course, as the temperature does continue to heat up, that could put more demand on these young riders. You know, their body's growing and all of that. It looks like somebody is having an issue there. Looks like that could be an issue for Azroy Anwar. Not quite sure what's happened. Maybe he stalled his bike, but he is being wheeled off the grid. So there is now a big gap there, which no doubt the Thai rider Kaizwampi will be looking to take advantage of. Disaster there for Anwar, who was 2nd in the race yesterday. He will have to start from pit lane if he is even able to start. There you can see all the mechanics there trying to get his bike working. The rest of the field does go off on their warm-up and formation lap.
And of course, Harry, 6 rounds in the ATC, and just to be put to the back of the field at the start of this race could well be a big turning point for the championship as well. We've seen in the past just how important consistency is and being able to grind out podium finishes. So for Anwar there, who was 2nd yesterday, you can see him just getting going now. So it has been able to get the bike started, but just he now has to collect himself, calm himself, and get ready for the start of this race. Big challenge for him. This is what really one of those moments where we see the making of of a rider and see what he's actually able to do under pressure when the chips are down and he's forced just to really dig deep.
Exactly, it will be great to see. Of course, all these riders do have some of the best in the business helping to mentor them. Hiroshi Oyama, Danny Rivolta, and of course Alberto Puig, all very heavily involved in this program, led and funded by Dorna to, as we said at the top of the broadcast, help bring through young talent from the Asia region, a region that loves motorcycle racing and unfortunately in recent years has had a bit of a drought of talent. You know, of course in the World Superbike Championship, which we're alongside here today, you have names like Kagayama, like Haga, who did so well, but we haven't seen any huge Japanese success recently. There you can see the championship standings. It is Onsu ahead of Anua, Yamanaka, and then Kai Zwanke, the tied rider there in fourth. Math pretty simple, as it was just one race.
Yeah, even myself and yourself were able to work out the championship maths from yesterday. But when you look at the ATC as well, Harry, over 100 riders came to the selection day in Sepang. The riders are chosen by Alberto Puig and Hiro Oyama and the rest of the team, but it does just show just how much interest there is, and it also shows that anyone from this region, inside Asia, in Australia, New Zealand, in the Pacific Islands, they can all get the opportunity to go racing and see if they've got the talent to match their ambitions.
Exactly, and you know, they are racing on world level circuits, which is so important. You always hear about riders sometimes struggling to learn circuits when they come over to Europe, say from somewhere like Japan, but no issues here as we see the grid form up. A great initiative this year, some onboard cameras, some absolutely incredible shots from the onboard cameras yesterday, bikes whizzing by left and right. It's going to be an absolutely excellent race, and I cannot wait. We'll have to see where Azroy Anua will start. I have a feeling it could very well be the back of the grid. It certainly won't be in that second position. As we just wait for the last few riders to form up, the red flag being held there. Everybody waiting quite patiently on the grid. It looks like Anua is lining up in second place, so good that he was able to get his bike restarted. Hopefully, as he said, he will be able to keep his cool. There we go, the red flag does walk away. Revs go up. Wait for the lights when they go on, and then now when they go off, we will be racing. Race 2 here at the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup is underway, and a great start there from number 12, Yamanaka, off the front row of the grid. Anua there just behind him as well as we run through turn 1. Great start from Dennis Onku there, the little number 7, just at the back of those leading 3.
Yeah, you can see Dennis Onku, the race winner yesterday, able to make it through to 4th position as well, but you can see that lead group already slipstreaming all the way down in towards turn 3, but it's Anua that's taking the lead as well, so no ill effects from that problem on the formation lap. Straight into the lead, and Dennis Onsu straight into second as well.
Yep, and there we can see beautiful shots here as always, 6 abreast through turn 3, and here comes Dennis Onsu, the number 7, using his lightweight to absolutely rocket ship down the straight here as they run towards turn 4. Look at that huge gaggle of riders there. Once again, 3 abreast through turn 4. It is Onsu who does lead this race ahead of that. Looks like Anua with Yamanaka there, once again just behind.
Yeah, and this is what's great, Harry. You can see these riders, all of them will get the opportunity, if they can win in this, to race in the CEV Championship, the Junior Moto3 World Championship. We've seen guys move into the Moto3 World Championship as well, but Dennis Onsu here, 13-year-old kid, to be able to do this, it's really putting him in that shop window for talent teams in Europe.
Exactly, and we saw that yesterday, of course, when he did win race 1. Jonathan Ray, Manuel Pichetti, all came up to congratulate him. Of course, he is supported by Keenan Sfroglu, so that does help get his name out there a bit. But there are a lot of people watching this championship, very eager-eyed to try and find the next Nitro Nori. For instance, there we can see Anua hard on the brakes, bike squirming around under him as he does seize the lead from the number 7 of Onsu there. Still the first lap of the race, and we've already had about 50 overtakes. Absolutely excellent racing as they whiz past our commentary box position down the main straight. It looks like it is once again Onsu who does seize the lead into turn 1 ahead of Anua, Yamanaka. Kuni there again, Hendrienza, great start to the race for him ahead of Noguchi, and then the second Onsu twin there in 7th place.
Slipstream City once again just on the road down in towards turn 3, but good stuff there from Anua just to be able to keep hold of the lead. But it's Cooney into second, and you can see just how quickly the order changes as they came across the line last time around. Dennis Onsu was second, he's down to 5th now.
Exactly, great move there from the number 12 of Yamanaka to get ahead of Onsu there. You can see with the white helmet just dropping off a bit of this group, but we did see gaps of about half a second open up during the race, and they would very rapidly get closed down, so don't worry, it will stay nice and tight as they come trundling through turn 4 down towards turn 5. Some big moves there. Looks like Dennis Onsu has made up a position just behind there. You can see his number 7 sliding in the back of that picture there. Number 20, Annuar, trying to get up the inside of Dennis Onsu. Look at that. 8 positions made up for Hendrienza. Huge start there for number 13. First name, Lucky. Lucky's been quite lucky, even though he has number 13 on the front of his bike, up into second place after qualifying in 10th place. So big moves there. Much better than we saw from him yesterday. And of course, for a lot of these kids, it will be their first time at this circuit. So they will, some of them just need that little bit of time to settle in, and that little bit of extra track knowledge can be a huge boost, especially for Lucky there. Now ahead of Cooney, but it does look like Cooney will look for a way through. No, he can't quite do it. Lucky does keep the door nice and closed.
Yeah, and as you said, Harry, it's all about building your experience. Whenever you're coming in here, those first couple of years, you can see a ride-through penalty for Annuar. So that's presumably for going to second on the grid. But Annuar, the championship contender, really going to be pushed to the back of the field now, and he'll do well just to score points. We see how close it is at the front of the field. Right now, it's a leading group of 15, so this will push him right down the order and out of contention.
Yep, certainly. You can make up a lot of time in this Asia Talent Cup, but unfortunately, I think that a ride-through penalty could be a bridge too far for Annuar, but we will have to wait and see. Lots of changing further down the field. There we can see the fight for about 8th place. Jerry Salem there with the number 4 ahead of Kais Wonthi and Adrienza.
And Yamanaka still out in front, a couple of tenths clear of just this fight for second. And as we said yesterday, Harry, we have seen people break away in the ATC, but around the Chang circuit with so many long straights, it's all but impossible to really make that break unless the other riders are fighting with each other and cost themselves way too much time. But we saw yesterday, the likes of Dennis Onsu isn't going to be in that kind of frame of mind. He just wants to get to the front and bridge those gaps. Yesterday, any time a gap opened up of a second, Onsu was able to just up his pace and get straight there. And you can see, trying to get down the inside of Yamanaka there, but unable to do that. But it just shows just how fiery really Onsu is. I think when you look at what he did last year as a 12-year-old kid in this championship, a podium in Sepang, but he's started this season really with the clear intention of winning this championship, and yesterday was hugely impressive. But if you ask me, this is actually probably more impressive than even yesterday's win. Just to be able to back it up, get straight to the front, just like he did in race 1.
Exactly, but speaking of getting the front, number 13 there, Lucky is trying to make his way through. Annuar still hasn't come in for his ride-through penalty. Of course, if he doesn't come in within 3 laps, he could potentially get black flag, which would definitely rule him out of scoring any points. So we'll have to see what he has done there. There we just saw the shot of his board definitely being shown to him. So hopefully he has seen that one, and he will be coming in soon. Onsu there continues to lead ahead of Lucky, Hendrienza and Yamanaka. Yamanaka nice and tucked in there, trying through for a way through on the number 13. Will he do it here into turn 3? A fair few different lines. Looks like Onsu will he get pushed wide by like a bit of a wobble there for the number 13, but keeps it upright. No changes in the top 3 as they make their way through the double right-hander, of turn 3.
Yeah, really good stuff from Onsu there, just to be able to keep hold of the lead under attack from Lucky. But you can see already we're 1/4 distance, and there's been so much action in this race. Still 12 laps to go, and anything can happen in it. It's easy just to see the fights unfold in a situation like this, but you have to think of the long game. You have to think in terms of the big picture of where do you need to be on lap 16, and that's what the experience for some of these guys like Yamanaka, we saw yesterday, pretty much the entire race in the podium positions, maybe dropped down to 4th, 5th. You can see just in the background the number 8 of Harama just running slightly wide, but it's all about just staying at the front of that group and trying to avoid as much trouble as possible. You can see Noguchi just getting down the inside as well. We saw a good performance from him yesterday, Harry.
Yeah, we certainly did. Noguchi fighting up there, eventually across the line in 6th place, looking to go hopefully more than 1 better, hopefully 5 better, he'll be thinking, as he does get right up there. Oh, there comes Annuar for his ride-through penalty as he does come through pit lane. Of course, he is limited to 60 kilometres an hour, so we'll be losing a lot of positions here. It is Yamanaka who leads ahead of Onsu, then Lucky Hendrienza in 3rd place, Noguchi there ahead of Cooney, and then the second Onsu twin there rounds out the top 6, Jerry Salem, Harama, Adrienza, and then for Mansell, round out the top 10. Bit of signalling there between a couple of the riders. Lucky having a bit of a look back. Big slipstreaming opportunities down that back straight from turn 1 through turn 2. Not really a corner, especially on these little Moto3 Honda machines.
I always love it in things like the Asia Talent Cup or Moto3 whenever riders start tapping the back of their bikes and saying, no, just come with me, we won't fight. As if 13, 14, 15-year-old kids are going to take that approach. If there's an opportunity to get past, these guys just take it. But you can see out in front, Yamanaka, a couple of laps out in the lead now for the Japanese rider. He's got round about a couple of tenths in front of this field of 4 or 5 riders just trying to catch him. You can see Anwar now just coming out of pit lane. And just to put that into perspective, the leaders are now coming through the stadium section at turn 5, so he's lost half a lap.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a mission impossible for Anwar, who is more than 30 seconds off scoring any points. So we will have to see how close he can get. Of course, all the track time is valuable for these young riders. Trying to improve their consistency, trying to hit that same apex every lap. You do see some quite varied lines from these young riders. Not so much from Yamanaka, who, as we said, is still in the lead and is starting to slowly try and eke out a bit of an advantage right now, about half a second ahead of the number 9 of Noguchi.
Different, obviously, on these Moto3 based machinery, but talking to some of the World SBK riders and Supersport riders just about racing in these conditions and riding in these conditions, all of them saying it's so difficult, and that's really for these kids as well, being 13, 14, 15 years of age, to be prepared for this kind of heat. It says an awful lot for the preparation work that goes in behind the scenes from Alberto Puig and the rest of the team of the ATC.
Exactly, it is a full program here, everything from fitness to learning English to media training to, of course, motorcycle racing is taught here. There you can see the number 5 of Cooney, nice and tight in the slipstream of Noguchi as they make their way down to turn 3. Then it's Onsu there in 4th place, the number 7. Still there, try to take the slightly wider, slightly higher line. We saw that a lot yesterday. He likes to cut it back and get a good exit there out of the second part of turn 3.
And just you can see Cooney just moving his way through into second as well. Good stuff from the young Japanese riders. Japanese riders for second and third, but it's Onsu that was the race winner yesterday in 4th, and you can see just darting out to the right hand side of the picture and probably just trying to get through on 1 or 2 riders. But it's so difficult to make a move into turn 4 here. You carry so much corner speed, but Cooney gets down the inside into turn 5, into the slower start of the stadium section, and Yamanaka has actually gone from the lead down to 3rd. But Harry, just when we're in the middle stage of this race, it's also worth mentioning that the British Talent Cup was also announced in the last couple of weeks, and basically the same kind of programme just to happen in the UK as well, with a lot of UK and Irish riders all being invited just to have the tryouts for that later on this year. Jeremy McWilliams and a lot of other people involved in it.
Exactly, great to see all these initiatives coming through to help riders get, of course, there are things like the Red Bull Rookies Cup as well, and the FIM-CEV Repsol Junior World Championship there. We can see the start for Dennis Onku. Oh, a bit of elbows there with the number 15 of Kaiswanthi, the Thai rider. But young Dennis Onku did manage to get up there straight into podium contention from the off. There we can see the overhead shot. Couple of elbows there. Number 7 taking a nice tight line into turn 1. We're getting straight on the gas. Here we go, on board. Solid start from there, holds the slipstream ahead of him. Then go straight for that inside line, hard on the brakes already, just tips it in. And then there you can see you're already starting to make up a lot of ground there on corner exit as he's straight back into the slipstream of the rider ahead. The slipstream is so important on these little Moto3 bikes, especially during the first half of this lap, which is basically 3 long straights connected by 2 very tight corners. But it is Yamanaka there, the number 12, leading from number 9, Noguchi. Cooney still there, as is Dennis Onsu, looking for a way through. Just coming out of the slipstream, trying to have a peer around. Everybody begins to fan across the track. Cooney there, up the inside, into second place, ahead of that look like Yamanaka, as Noguchi now leads this race as they make their way into that stadium section Steve was talking about, through turn 5, then flowing directly into turn 6. Nice double left-hand section there.
Yeah, and you can see now that leading group of what was 5 is now leading group of 9. Just we right on board trying to get down the inside of Dennis Onsu. But has that move actually been made by Yamanaka? It looks like he has. So good move by Yamanaka just to get through into 3rd position. We've got both the Onsu brothers in the top 5 now as well. Kan Onsu on the number 3 bike, and Dennis Onsu, the race winner from yesterday, on the number 7.
Exactly, both of them very, very quick, but it was definitely Dennis who saw a lot more of and was up there yesterday, not quite as far forward as we look back at the number 12 of Yamanaka. Big move there. I'm guessing that we are on board with Cooney as we see Noguchi drop to second as they start to charge down the start-finish straight. 9 laps to go here. Yes, it is Cooney who has seized the lead, but watch out. Here comes Noguchi up the inside. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Thrilling racing here in Thailand from the Asia Talent Cup.
I have to say, Harry, how cool is it though to see onboard shots in the ATC as well? Really does bring the fans much closer to the action, and it is thick and fast action here in this championship. A couple of onboard cameras just to really bring into it. But the Onsu brothers just getting to the front there as well. Dennis taking the lead from Cooney, and it looks like Kan's into third. No, it's actually still the number 9 of Noguchi in third, but Kan just into fourth, and really it looks like the two brothers just trying to make their moves here as we come towards half distance.
Exactly, that was an incredible move from young Dennis as we see riders once again go 4 abreast. Not quite sure who sees the lead there. It is number 3, Kan Ongsu, the twin brother, of course, of Dennis. Not sure which one of them is the older one, but they are both very, very fast. It is now the Turk who leads, and we have had a crash there, unfortunately, for number 11, for Haziq Hamdan. Looks like he's trying to get it restarted. There we go, the Malaysian rider, number 11. Had to, unfortunately, give up on that one. Unfortunate end to the race for him, who crossed the line in 15th yesterday. Here we see in turn 3. Whoa! That was a bit of a big one.
Yeah, and being hit by the bike on the way through as well. We saw him just making a motion, just maybe for a gear shift or something like that, so just he wasn't able just to get that bike back into neutral and get it to restart. But a big moment for him, but big moments for everyone up at the front of the field, and you can see number 9 Noguchi hitting the front once again just as we come across just to start the 9th lap of the race.
Yeah, exactly, and that group of 9 riders are still all very, very close together. Under 1.5 seconds separate all those top 9. It is now lucky number 13 who has dropped it back after being in the lead during the early part of the race. As we approach half race distance there, looking back at Yamanaka.
And this is riding on board with Cooney, just down the back straight, or the main straight, but you can see just how the leaders all fan out. And it's the Onsu twins hitting the front. Dennis just getting down the inside of Kan, but in behind that you can see Noguchi just trying to defend, Cooney taking advantage, but it's still Dennis Onsu leading. Kan Onsu just relegated back down to third after trying to make a few moves there, but really the action heating up here as we get into the second half of the race. Riding on board now at Yamanaka, and you can see the race leaders in front of you.
Exactly, just a little update. Anua is still in 22nd place. He's lapping at about the same pace as these front riders, but he's a massive 46 seconds behind, so his chance of points are pretty much nil, as it does look like Noguchi has seized back the lead. As soon as I say that, then there's Onsu sides back up the inside. Oh no, sorry, it was Noguchi there who did scythe himself into first place provisionally, but as you can see, it is all chop and change. There's not really much point predicting who has the better pace, because it is changing so much every race. It is every lap. It is currently Noguchi who has set the fastest lap of the race on lap 5, a 1:47.218, as they currently are lapping in about the mid to low 1:48s. There we can see number 9 Noguchi hard up the inside of Kan Onsu. Onsu sandwich there.
A bit of Turkish delight in the front and back of that sandwich, but apart from terrible puns, we've got some good racing going on here, Harry, and you can see this leading group of 9 riders, and really it's take your pick of who it is, who's going to be at the front at any given time. But we've seen Noguchi consistently get to the front, we've seen Dennis Onsu consistently get to the front, and just like yesterday, Yamanaka is consistently in that leading 3 or 4 riders. And that's the key thing for me, is just to see who's able to keep doing this. This is, of course, the first round of 6 for the Asia Talent Cup. They'll be back in action in 2 weeks' time at the first round of the MotoGP World Championship, where they'll be supporting the action in Qatar.
Exactly. Big look over there for Dennis Onsu as Noguchi once again comes through at turn 3. Turn 3 are giving us a lot of action here. Noguchi up on the rumble strips. Everybody tucked in, trying to follow the leader, trying to benefit from that slipstream. At some circuits, the slipstream can be worth up to 1/3 of a second, if not more, a lap for these little Moto3 riders. Look at that as we go on board with Onsu. 4 riders ahead of him. Trying to just close down that gap. Oh, and there comes somebody else up the inside you open the door even a centimetre and you'll have at least one person coming through there as we go on board with Cooney, looking back on Dennis Onsu there, the number 7, ahead of the number 4 of Jerry Salem. Salem once again coming strong at the end of this race.
Yeah, we saw it yesterday. Jerry Salem really did get back to the front of the field, but then just dropped down the order in the last couple of laps. Seemed to just get funneled out of position a little bit, bundled around, and cost him dearly. But Salim back up there inside the top 5 now again, and it's important for him to get back onto the podium. He needs to leave here, a decent haul of points to go to Qatar and really get his championship charge going.
There you can see Noguchi and Yamanaka hard on the brakes, brake checking each other. But it is Noguchi who does come out of that little contest the favourite as they make their way towards out of turn 12, down the start finish straight towards turn 1. It is the number 12 of Yamanaka. Yamanaka, interestingly, seems to be sticking out his knees before he gets on the brake, trying to slow himself down just that little bit more. Before of Jerry Salem there, taking a slightly different line. Those top 3 opening up just a couple of bike lanes as Jerry Salem does power past. And there's Onsu. Here we go. Onsu trying to go around the outside. There's Jerry Salem on the number 4. Onsu running very, very wide and dropping down a couple of positions there. No doubt he'll be able to make that up. We still do have 6 laps to go, 5 and a bit laps to complete. We are on lap 11 of 16 and it is currently number 5 and number 9, Cooney and Noguchi, an all-Japan battle for first place with Yamanaka there looking on as Noguchi goes around the outside, tries to take the inside line down into turn 4.
And great just to see the onboards again, as I said, right in on top of the action there for the race. They do see Yamanaka now just trying to get down into second position. And really, as you said, all Japanese 1, 2, 3. We've got the Indonesian of Jerry Salim in 4th, and then the Turk Canon Su in 5th position. So a good mix of nationalities at the front with an Indonesian as well in 6th position.
Yeah, and there you can see just at the back of your picture just a second ago, then is Onsu down there at the back of this group. A fair bit of ground to make up. Hopefully he's not having any issues. We do know that in the Superbike class there were 1 or 2 guys who did experience some brake fade in yesterday's race because of the heat. So hopefully everything is okay for race 1. The winner then is Onsu, but we do still have 6 laps to go, so anything can happen. As we once again go on board this time with Can Onsu, number 3, currently in 5th place, coming around that tight turn 12, then hit the gas on the straight, try and get it all tucked in as you charge down towards another tight corner, turn 1.
Yeah, and braking shouldn't be too much of an issue for these bikes. Very different specs, obviously, compared to the SBK bikes. Very different force being put through them. And most of the time you just tend to see riders just let off the brake here and just force their way through anyway. But you can see, forcing his way to the front is number 9, Noguchi, just getting through on Yamanaka. But it's Cooney making the moves, and Jerry Salim indeed round the outside, trying to just move into the podium position. But good defending there from Yamanaka just to hold on to 3rd.
Nice tight line there on the corner entry. As I say, it is Cooney, Noguchi, Yamanaka, Salem, Can Onsu, Andrienza, Hendrienza, Buriram Onsu, and then Kai Swanti, the tyre rider, round out the top 10 just there at the back of your picture.
Yeah, and looking number 13, also saying to Harama, just sit behind me, we need to close this gap to the leaders. There's only 4.5 laps to go, and to give them a second is just asking for trouble at this time.
As we look back on Noguchi, interesting to see who is strong in the last part of this lap. Of course, the Buriram circuit, a circuit of 2 halves really. You have the first half lap really fast and flowing, obviously those 3 long straights, and then you get to the second half lap, a lot more tight, twisty, a lot more technical. And it is that part of the lap where all these Asia Talent Cup riders will be looking to excel. It doesn't matter if you lead at the start of the first lap, it's whoever crosses that line first.
Yeah, exactly. The points given out at the end of lap 16, not at the first corner, but it's always difficult to remember that whenever you're in the middle of an ATC race, and you can see with these guys that they are just trying to settle down, I think, and just try and get themselves steady and steeled up for the final couple of laps. Just coming into the last quarter of the race now, so again, this is also where the fitness comes into it, and just the work that they've done in the gym under the guidance of Alberto Puig and Hiro Ayama really does start to pay off for some of these guys, and also where maybe some of the older riders just having that little bit of extra experience can be a big difference. You can see Noguchi's back at the front, but Cooney and Onsu there in the middle of the slipstream really pushing themselves to the front now.
Big look back from Cooney. It doesn't look like we are going to have some pretty hectic overtaking action here. 4 abreast into turn 3. Watch out for the number 6 of Andrienza as well. He was absolutely rapid in there as he tries to look for a way through on Onsu. Can't quite do it. It is still Cooney. It is Can Onsu now who does lead this race ahead of Noguchi, the other Onsu twin in the lead for the first time this race. Looks like there's a bit of elbowing going on there. Big elbow out there from Noguchi.
Yeah, we saw Can Onsu get to the front last time around. We also saw his brother Dennis pick up a lot of time in that gap back to 7th position, but so maybe we could see him back to the front. You can see change to 2nd position now as well with Onsu overtaken, but 3.5 laps to go. It's going to be a big ask for the likes of Dennis Onsu to be able to get into this pack and get to the front of it. But we saw last time around Can Onsu went from 4th to the lead into turn 3, so you can make the moves down that straight and really just free overtaking moves once you've got that slipstream.
Yep, exactly. Yamanaka does continue to lead ahead of compatriot Noguchi there. Noguchi getting a bit aggressive with the elbows just a couple of corners ago. It is starting to heat up, not just the air temperature, but the action on track. All of these riders determined to win. There's nothing better than victory as we watch number 9 of Noguchi come up the inside. Does slip ahead of Yamanaka there to lead as we round the final couple of corners. There you can see the number 7 of Dennis Onsu just at the back of your picture. He's now up into 6th place, continuing to slowly pick up all those riders ahead as we enter the final 3 laps of this race. Noguchi there, a nice sweeping line, cutting back to close the door on Yamanaka. No chance of him getting through.
Yeah, and you can see last time around, Onsu was actually just only a couple of hundredths of a second off the fastest lap of the race while making a couple of overtaking moves as well. So good pace there from the Turkish rider as he tries to get to that lead group, but it's his brother Can Onsu that's taken into the lead again. But you can see Noguchi just going first to 4th, 4th to 2nd in the space of a couple of hundred meters.
Exactly, absolutely thrilling action here once again for the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup. It's all going nice and rapid here. There's the number 9 there of Noguchi who does lead ahead of Cooney. Number 7 looking for a way through. Dennis Onsu now back in that group battling for the lead. He's in podium contention right now, currently 3rd. Can't exactly find a way through just yet. Here we look back at the number 9 of Noguchi. Can't quite do it. It is currently Cooney who leads. Cooney with his excellent onboard camera facing back. He has a great view at the action, really getting this down in the heart of battle. Dennis Onsu there, just ahead of his brother Can. You wouldn't think they were twin brothers with the old size difference between them, but it is the number 3 who does try and go around the outside, but Dennis Onsu so strong on the brakes. Still there in 3rd position, just behind Cooney and Noguchi as we start the penultimate lap of this 16-lap Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup race here at the Chang International Circuit in Buriram.
Yeah, so only 9 kilometers left and 8 riders in that lead group. You can see here the number 15 just coming through the first corner, the leading Thai rider, the leading home rider, but big gap in front of him to that lead group. But really the action's all at the front of the field, and this is that moment now, lap and a half, lap and 3/4 to go, where you need to start moving to the front. You can see Dennis Onsu into 3rd, followed through by Yamanaka. Again, Yamanaka just keeping himself in that top 4. And solid stuff from the Japanese rider. Lots of podiums last year, 5 podiums last year, a podium yesterday, and really just putting himself in the right positions once again today. You can see the number 9 of Noguchi just coming down using the slipstream, but it's Dennis Onsu gets to the front. And again, just like what we saw yesterday, Onsu, once he has to, he's got that extra pace around here compared to the rest of the field. Just being sat up a little bit there by Noguchi. It's all getting a little bit tight now at the front. Lap and a half, everyone just trying to get themselves settled in. Good move through turn 7 there from Onsu to get back down the inside of Noguchi.
Exactly, it is all chop and change at the front. It does look like young Dennis Onsu has grabbed the lead provisionally right now ahead of Noguchi. There we are on board with Can Onsu looking ahead at the battle for first place. Another great camera angle. Yes, it is Dennis Onsu who does lead. The pint-sized rider, but absolutely rapid. He's there unfortunately had his Weetabix this morning. The number 9 of Noguchi there, looking for a way through, but Dennis Onsu just so late on the brakes. Big move there from Yamanaka, the number 12 rider, to move into provisional third place as we start the final lap of this thrilling 16-lap battle here. And it does look like we have unfortunately had a crash for the number 17 rider, Maxi Hattori, the Japanese rider there, falling at turn 6.
Yeah, so it's an Onsu brothers 1 and 2 here with the lap to go, and you can see everyone just sweeping from one side of the track to the other, trying to break the slipstream from the rider behind them. We've seen Kan Onsu on the number 3 really strong on the braking, so maybe he'll be able to defend here from Yamanaka on the way into turn 3. But it's the number 9 of Noguchi that goes from 4th to 2nd, and Jerry Salim moves up into 4th as well. Yamanaka really punished and pushed down to 5th. But this is all just helping Dennis Onsu. It's giving him that little bit of a gap.
Yep, and this is pretty much what we saw yesterday with Onsu as well. He made a move early and was then just able to eke out enough of a gap, helped by the fighting behind, to defend his lead.
And we've also got a crash for Anwar as well, the rider that had the ride-through penalty at the start of this race. But you can see Yamanaka now really just getting down the inside. He's into 3rd, but he's trying to get 2nd. And again, this is what we were talking about, Harry. Just able to consistently move himself into those podium spots. It's exactly what he did last year, and he's just doing the same again now.
It does look like it will take a pretty big mistake from Dennis Onsu. He does have just over 0.3 of a second advantage over his brother there, Kan Onsu, the number 3, hair flapping out the back of the helmet. But that battle for second is going to be tight. It is Yamanaka there who goes up the inside. Noguchi follows him through the door. Kan goes from 2nd down to 4th. His brother still continues to lead this race. What can the likes of Yamanaka and Noguchi do as we come through turn 9, then through turn 10, turn 11 now? One more corner left. What can they do into turn 12? Big move there from Yamanaka. The number 12 goes for the inside line. Oh, a bit of a bobble there, and it looks like it is Onsu who will win this race. Yes, he does. He does the double. Absolutely incredible result there. Looks like Yamanaka has crossed the line ahead of Noguchi despite that wobble. Then Kan Onsu there in 4th. Cooney dropped down to 5th. Jerry Salem in 6th ahead of Harama Adrienza. Lucky Hendrienza there in 9th ahead of Kai Zwanti, the Thai rider for Manziat. And it's 2 Suzuki riders. Obviously not on Suzuki's, on Hondas. Both named Suzuki. No relation there in 13th. 14th position for the Australian baddie there. Great result for him. His first points of the year as well. And here's the battle for 15th with Peter Barrett there claiming the last point ahead of Saito, the number 10.
So double victory for Dennis Onsu here. Obviously championship leader for the number 7, but he'll take to Qatar a 14-point lead over Yamanaka, who's now added to his podium tally from last season. 7 podiums in the ATC for Yamanaka, and that's that kind of consistency that could help him through the season. Wait and see what Dennis Onsu is able to do in Qatar, but having had a podium last year in Sepang, having got 2 wins here, he's in great form as the ATC season starts in earnest here in Thailand and moves on to Qatar in 2 weeks.
Exactly, absolutely thrilling racing. Of course, they also go to circuits such as Sepang, 2 visits to Sepang, and this year they also get to go to the incredible, legendary Suzuka circuit, which will be absolutely great to see. And they also have a round at Motegi alongside the MotoGP World Championship. There is just confirmation of those championship standings. 50 points, the perfect weekend for Dennis Onsu. It was Noguchi who took best lap honours that race with that 147.218 on lap 5 there. Here we go. Here's where it all happened. Dennis Onsu there ahead of Noguchi, and then absolutely hectic action just behind him.
Yeah, and you can see how good a job Yamanaka did to really come through and finish 2nd as well. He was 5th with about a half a lap to go, so really good stuff from the Japanese rider just to get through. But Dennis Onsu pretty much untouchable all weekend here. Fastest man on the track at any given time, able to bridge gaps with ease, and he uses that very well to be able to take the win by just 0.2 of a second. But you can see Kan Onsu, Dennis Onsu on their slow down lap, just offering congratulations to each other. The Onsus 1st and 4th in the championship, so really strong start to the year for the 2 Turkish riders.
Wonderful results for them. Big things to come for Dennis Onsu. If you are tuning in, I'm sure in a couple of years you will be able to say, I knew he was a great talent way back at the start of 2017, as they make their way down into the pits. They'll then get on a golf cart for a quick ride across the circuit to the podium. There's number 12, Yamanaka, going 1 better than he did yesterday, 3rd yesterday, 2nd today. Does gift him, as you said, Steve, 2nd in the championship with 36 points, but it is that man there, happy once again, holding up the number 1, ecstatic with victory. And then the number 9 of Noguchi rolls into Park Fermé for his first podium of the 2017 season.
And again, straight in to be congratulated by Manuel Pichetti and Kyle Ride from the Pichetti World Superbike and World Supersport teams. But really does just show just how much interest they're taking in the talent level in Turkey as a result of Kenan Safag. You can see Alberto Puig down in Park Fermé as well, just offering congratulations to the podium men.
Yep, Alberto Puig, a great guy to have. You know, he's brought through so much talent. Obviously, Danny Pedrosa, Tony Elias, Casey Stoner, to name just a few of them. There we see Yamanaka there. Just taking his earplugs out after a good race. There was a very ambitious last lap move, I must say. Wonderful stuff there for him. Unfortunately, did have that bit of a bobble, which did cost him, but he certainly went for it, and he can't fault the boy for trying. Great enthusiasm for racing from the young Japanese rider. Of course, is Turkey from Japan, Turkey, and then Japan again. So 3 Japanese riders, 2 Turkish riders in the top 5 of that race. There we go. Jonathan Ray probably getting a tip or 2 actually from Dennis Onsu. Of course, Jonathan Ray will be starting from 9th. So he'll be hoping for a tip or 2 from the Turkish rider about how to come through the field. Congratulations there from all of the Asia Talent Cup staff. Alberto Puig just asking why he dropped back a bit. Alberto Puig always trying to improve all of these riders in every aspect, as we said, from their physical preparation to their racecraft. Great to have Alberto there guiding all of them. True legend of the paddock, Alberto Puig. There we can see the final results for race 2 here. Dennis Onsu ahead of Yamanaka. Noguchi there in 3rd. Then brother Kan Onsu in 4th. Cooney, Salem, Harama, Andrienza. Lucky number 13, Hendrienza there in 9th place. 4.3 seconds, dropping off a bit towards the end of the race there for the Indonesian rider. Turkey, Japan and Indonesia. Then a Thai rider completes the top 10. Kai Swanthi there ahead of Firmanza Suzuki. Then Takuto Suzuki ahead of Badi. Varak there, the other Thai rider in 15th place. Saito, the Japanese rider. Tadachi Hakim, Arfin Sorojo, just missing out on the points. Then Hattori, Anua and Hamdan unable to unfortunately finish this race. There was a pretty good comeback for Azroy Anua. He was putting in some very fast laps, obviously on the limit to do so. There we can see everybody in the golf cart. Lucky race leader gets a little shotgun and sit in the front of the car.
Shotgun always the reward for winning your races. But you can see just that everyone has to roll down pit lane to go across the start-finish grid and to the podium here in Thailand. The podium on the infield in front of the grandstand, and you can see Dennis Onsu just once again just unfurling his Turkish flag as well, just to have that draped around them on the podium just like yesterday.
Here we go for what will be the championship standings. It is Dennis Onsu who takes 50 points from the 50 on offer. Yamanaka there moves up a place. Noguchi in 3rd ahead of Kan Onsu. Jerry Salem there in 5th. Pretty solid results for him as Roy Anua drops way down the field. Still ahead of Kai Swanthi. Cooney there in 8th. Was expecting a bit more from the very fast Japanese rider. There we see Lucky in 10th. Harama in 11th. Suzuki there in 12th, Firmenza there in 13th, ahead of Suzuki, Hattori, Thidovarak, Badi and Hamdan. Top 18, still a lot of points on offer. Of course, we still do have 10 more races to come, so anything could still happen here in the ATC as they make their way towards the podium. There you can just see the size difference between Onsu, Yamanaka and Noguchi. All luckily standing in height order. Nice and organised there.
Yes, nice and ascending there. But it's the smallest man that had the biggest heart this weekend, and 50 points the reward for Dennis Onsu. As we said, only 13 years of age. So really this could be a real stepping stone towards moving on to race in Europe as well. He's shown a lot of potential in his 2 years, or year and 2 races in the ATC, and really just shows once again the kind of riders that we get in this championship. Harry, when you look back through the champions, it's always been a consistent line of quality riders.
Exactly, really, really fast guys. As we said, Kaito Toba, Ayumu Sasaki, Songkyat Chantra, all very, very quick. Could it be this man's here? Could it be Dennis Onsu? Big wave to the crowd. The grandstand already absolutely packed here in Thailand to watch the opening battle between all of these young 23 riders as they stand up on the podium. There is finally as tall as his competitors on the top step. There we can see the third place trophy just getting handed to Noguchi. Yamanaka there now in second place. Is, of course, his second podium of the weekend, going one better than he did in race one. But it is that man there on the top step, just adjusting his hat, now gets his second first place trophy. Hopefully paid for the excess baggage, because his bag will be weighed down by those two fantastic first place trophies as he does make his way back home to Turkey before heading off to Qatar to race alongside the MotoGP World Championship. Here's the Turkish anthem. What a great feeling for a 13-year-old, being applauded by thousands of people, all absolutely thrilled by the race that he produced, as they pose for just a couple more photos there. Hats on, of course, got to keep the sponsors happy. As we said, not only does this championship teach them how to race, teaches them English, teaches them all the media skills they need to be some of the best riders in the world. As we said, if you are interested in this championship, be sure to tune in next time in Qatar. It will still all be broadcast, all on the Asia Talent Cup YouTube, with updates on both WorldSBK.com and MotoGP.com, so you can keep abreast of all the comings and goings of these fantastic young riders here. Great result there as he lifts the trophy high above his head. As you can see, massive, massive height difference. But the biggest smile goes to the littlest man, who, as Steve quite rightly said, did have the biggest heart and probably the most bravery. Although, to be fair, that move by Yamanaka in the final corner was a pretty brave one. Of course, no alcoholic beverages for any of these riders. Just get to celebrate with a bit of water, maybe some energy drinks if they're lucky. Of course, all under 18 years of age. Here we can see the highlights. The Thai rider Kaiserwanti ecstatic to be racing in front of his home fans. The lights went out and it was a great start from young Dennis Onsu there further back, but we had the Japanese riders on the front row of Yamanaka and Kuni. An incredible start for them. Anua was also up there towards the start of the race, but would unfortunately be forced to come through for a ride-through penalty later in the race. The onboard cameras brought us some absolutely unbelievable shots. Dennis Onsu pretty rapid to get to the lead. There we see Anua being called in for his ride-through penalty. Yamanaka and Noguchi hyper-aggressive, attacking whenever they could to attempt to get into the lead of this race. Big, big moment there. As we see, unfortunately, the number 17 of Hattori go down. Luckily, he was straight back up and trying to get his bike restarted. We had a pretty consistent group of 11 riders fighting for the front here in Thailand. And it was all chop and change. Nobody had it easy in that leading group. You're always under threat from at least 3 other riders here in the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup. Kan Onsu was up there, led the race at a couple of times, but it was his brother Dennis who did eventually win. There's that really ambitious move from Yamanaka. Really lucky to hold on to that one. A big bobble there, but does manage to hang on to second place ahead of Noguchi. Yamanaka moves to second in the championship behind that man there. Number 1 for number 7, Dennis Onsu. Leaves Thailand with the full 50 points. Top speed of 215.1 kilometers an hour. Absolutely rapid for the tiny Turkish rider.